Shane with MotoRad here. Today we have a special guest. We have Shawn Collins from Technician.Academy. Morning, Shawn.
Hey, Shane. How's it going?
Doing great. Shawn is here today to talk to us about a contest that Technician.Academy is sponsoring to allow young technicians the chance to get to see some major horsepower. Can you tell us about that, Shawn?
Absolutely, yeah. Technician.Academy, and without awesome sponsors like MotoRad, we couldn't have that access to horsepower that our student interns are going to be able to look at and be able to actually have some hands-on experience. But the Respect is Learned in the Pits program is going on its 5th year. We partnered with Randy Meyer Racing, 40-plus year NHRA, top alcohol world champion team. We partnered with them 5 years ago, and what the concept was, what does it look like for one of our interns to come in, I say our interns, it's any intern. So any student that is at a NATEF certified school can go to Technician.Academy, and they'll see a big In the Pits button there that discusses what Respect is Learned in the Pits is. And what Respect is Learned in the Pits is an opportunity for them to intern with Randy Meyer Racing at the largest race of the year, if you're an HRA fan, the U.S. Nationals at Indianapolis at the Big Go. So from Thursday till Monday, when I'm not going to jinx them, knock on this wood, but Randy Meyer Racing for the last 2 years has won the U.S. Nationals. For the last 2 years, our Respect is Learned in the Pits interns have walked away U.S. National world champions
and set a world record last year.
And set a world record at 5:09. Yes, in the quarter mile. What an amazing accomplishment.
Yep. Very good.
But you know what? I just said all that stuff, but really what it is it's a contest to be able to go and work as an intern with the defending world champion of top alcohol dragster at the NHRA's largest race of the year, the U.S. Nationals. The interns, I say that they're interns, they're actually part of the crew. I mean, you experience it. They come to the racetrack, they show up on a Thursday, they get an introduction into the pits, and then after that, Randy turns them loose. It's not like you're just going there and you're like standing back like, oh, what's this look like?
No, last year they were slinging heads and pulling clutches. They were doing it all.
Yeah, so they get fully immersed. Randy looks at them as a full-time pit crew member. The great thing about it is once you're introduced to that Randy Meyer Racing team, it really is a family. So Joe, one of our previous interns from the Chicago area, when Randy Meyer Racing and Randy, his team, Rachel and Julie and all of them are up in Chicago, they call Joe. And Joe gets to come in and sub into that team on those weekends when they're in Chicago. Mike from last year, you know what? Randy called them up. They're in St. Louis. Mike's in the St. Louis area. Guess what? Mike's working for them again this year. Kyle, when they're down at the regionals down in Kentucky, Kyle gets the phone call and they get to go. They become a part of the Randy Meyer Racing family.
They're developing relationships within the racing organization, not just a one-weekend deal, but lasting relationship.
Absolutely, and I think Bo was actually, when they were in Nashville, Bo had the opportunity to come and do that. So right. I talked I've rattled off a lot of names. I mean, year number 1 was Kyle from Western Kentucky. Great guy, bracket racer himself. Him and his father have a family affair in drag racing, and he continuously stays in touch with us on what that looks like. And then the following year, we went in and we opened it up, and we said we're going to do one. And then Joe from Chicago stepped up, and Joe did a really good job. Kyle was a very vocal, very in it, talked a lot about his experience in bracket racing and how it connected. Joe was a more analytical guy, really, into it, watched, learned, picked up on things, and then figured out where his wheelhouse was at and really attacked it. And then the year after that, we had John and Bo. John is heavily involved in racing today. He's at the speed shop. He's the head of dyno there after he went through and he finished his degree, and he's in, I believe, North Carolina, working at the speed shop, running their dyno there. And then Bo from Nashville, he is he's in a family-owned auto shop, and now really in, let's say, all in with his dad and his family business there. So we had John and Bo, and then last year we had Mike and Connor. And Mike is he definitely, one of his goals is to be a top alcohol dragster pilot. So it really fit into his wheelhouse. His story really connected with Randy Meyer Racing and where he wanted to go as an opportunity. Randy Meyer Racing actually has seats available for up and coming dragster pilots to be able to do that. So it was an opportunity of a lifetime for him. Connor was really trying to figure out where he wanted to go. He knows that he is one day going to own his own shop, and had really looked at what the opportunities were to just go out, and he took a chance and said, hey, I'm going to fill out the online application at Technician.Academy. He filled it out, had a really good story. We connected with us and Randy Meyer Racing. He ended up winning the contest, went there, and now is in the auto shop industry. And one day, as Connor will tell you, he's a big-time entrepreneur, and he wants to own his own shop one day. So have a really good track record of not only having individuals who may have thought about getting into the race industry or the technician industry, really a track record of success for winning at the race, as well as them being able to go on and do things, really connecting them with the industry that they can be a part of.
Right. And a lot of young technicians, that's their dream, to be able to go to a race, work on a car, be in the pits. I mean, that's an awesome opportunity for them.
Yes, and I mean, I can remember when we started Technician Academy. Like I said, Technician Academy is 6 years old. That year that we had started it, we had some online content that we were developing, and we just had a connection. My wife is family members with Randy, and we were invited up to the U.S. Nationals, and we're able to go in, and Randy welcomed us into the pits just like he does you, and said, hey, come in and sit down and learn about drag racing, just have a really good time at the U.S. Nationals. For me, it was a dream come true because I grew up in Chandler, Indiana. 8th Mile Drag Strip was right behind me, and I can remember walking up and I heard that into the pits, and you just heard that like PA system really, and I'm like, man, I'm kind of home, but I'm at the U.S. Nationals. This is like, you go from here to all the way to the moon, right?
Biggest race of the year.
Biggest race of the year, and we're walking in, and I just kind of expect a, hi, how you doing, and then, I've got to get back to work kind of thing. But Randy and Megan and Rachel and Mary, they all invited us into the pits, welcomed us in, and we were able to have the conversation. He's like, well, what are you doing today? And I told him about Technician Academy, and I said we had talked about us being at SEMA and being at Apex together, and then attending PRI. And I said, well, when you come back around for Thanksgiving, let's have you in on the Technician Academy podcast. And that's where we were kicking the idea around. And it was like, you're having problems finding qualified technicians, performance technicians to be a part of your team for the long haul. Why don't we open this up, and why don't we make this a fun contest where if you really want to be in the pits working on a top alcohol dragster, let's do this, and let's make it an internship. And it was originally scheduled to be at St. Louis. And St. Louis that year, I think the heat index for that race was going to be like 115.
Wow.
So they actually canceled the race. We had hotel rooms and everything was all set up there in downtown St. Louis. And we got the call, hey, they're postponing the race because that's not a condition that anything can really, traction is not an option. Rubber is liquid at that point on the drag strip. So they're gonna postpone that. But what we'd like to do is offer the U.S. Nationals. And I'm like, U.S. Nationals? Sign us up. Let's go. I mean, it's in Indiana. We're in Indiana. It's 3 hours away, no matter which way you look at it. But it's the U.S. Nationals, and Randy Meyer Racing and the whole team has welcomed us to be a part of that event every year following.
Great drag racing family, and just a great family all around.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this year we won't get to see Megan. Megan retired from top alcohol racing last.
But it stays in the family.
But it stays in the family. We're passing it on to Rachel. Rachel has always been a part of respect is learned in the pits. She's always been one of the drivers at the U.S. Nationals, no matter what. Last year was a really unique opportunity. The interns were able to actually not have 1, 2, but 3 top alcohol dragsters all in the pits all at the same time. That was a first for Technician.Academy, for MotoRad and Randy Meyer Racing to have 3 top alcohol dragsters all in one pit, and trying to service that, turn that, and get that back out and put it into a competitive atmosphere. And once again, Megan walked away the U.S. Nationals champion, and went on to win her second consecutive world championship for Randy Meyer Racing.
That sounds like an awesome program for any technician out there. So any of you college students out there, if your dream is to work in the pits in an NHRA race, this is your shot. Go to Technician.Academy. You can sign up. You can be there with MotoRad, with Shawn from Technician.Academy, and have a great weekend working on cars. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.